Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Erica. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. I missed you. Today, we're going to be looking at scary stories on TikTok. I know that there's always millions of scary videos that I usually react to, but recently there's been kind of like a trend, more like a stitch going around of people stitching their personal scary stories. Isn't that so interesting? Cause dude, I love hearing people's personal ghost stories. By the way, guys, do you guys notice anything about me? Because I'm gonna be launching something soon. Like I said before, I really hope que esto sea lo que me saque de la pobreza. Así que I really hope you guys can support me with this. It's coming just in time for the summer. It's something that it's gonna make you feel super beautiful. I know some of you already know what it is, pero yo la quiero hacer de emoción, okay? A lot of people are just like, bro, we already know. But dude, I'm so excited. We're gonna start by watching the video that made all of this happen. The girl's username is Audacity. I think that's how you pronounce it. She shared a ghost story and she was like, stitch this to share your ghost story, and that's how it all ended up happening. But let's hear her story first.
Tell me a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable but is entirely true. I'll go first. When I was 8 years old, my family and I moved to a small town in the Midwest, and it was a farm town. It was built in like the early 1800s. I think it was part of like the Homestead Act or something. It was, had a bunch of acres, a barn that had burnt down. Like, it was an active farm back then. Lots of history. People definitely passed away on the property, that we knew for sure. And man, it wasn't like very obvious as a child. I was super intuitive and I didn't know what to do with that intuition. So I naturally got a Ouija board. And of course I dragged along my best friend and my sister and a couple other friends on this Ouija board journey where we would go and sit at the top of the stairs to the basement, and we would turn all the lights off and turn candles on and then ask this thing questions, and it responded. And I don't tell people the story, it sounds psycho. The fact that other people are there to verify all of these things and validate gives me inner peace, but I don't tell people. But it worked. It's
because scary
unlike
stories
what I thought
fake.
would happen when it would move, even when we'd lift all of our hands off of it, it's still moving. It's how aggressively it moved. It wasn't gentle, it was like very sharp. And so much time would pass when we were in there talking to this entity as well. Like, we would think 10 minutes went by and it would be 2 hours. Like, insane. Being little kids, we wanted to know questions and answers like, who are we going to marry when we grow up? Or how many kids are we going to have? Or just questions like that. And every single time we start, it would give us answers at first, like, and it would tell us about itself. We would say, like, what's your name? And it would just say demon, D-E-M-O-N, like, over and over again. When we would ask questions about me, it would, at first it would like give us answers, and then it would just spell bitch repeatedly, B-I-T-C-H, B-I-T-C-H, B-I-T-C-H. Horrifying. Like, any question about me. Also, sorry if I seem lackluster, I already told this whole story and it deleted. It was so freaky. We're also having like visuals of like hands reaching towards the planchette, like in the candlelight flicker. This entity gave us details saying that it was like buried in the cemetery, a cemetery that was like local, like the name was legit. It gave us like, I think it either gave us a plot number or it was just like the last name. And we did go there, and what we found was crazy.
Okay, pero me quedé con las ganas. I want to know what they found. That's so scary. The fact that he knew the name of the cemetery. These things, like, that's how you know this shit is real.
When I tell this story to this day, people do not believe me. When I was a freshman in college,
I know this is
I
gonna
was
be
going
scary.
to a private school in Pittsburgh. I was leaving the next year. I was going to a different school. So my friends and I, some of us were leaving, some of us were moving, whatever. We decided we wanted to kind of hit all the different spots in Pittsburgh that we really liked. So we went to like Mount Washington.
One of the top comments says, Pittsburgh native, you said fountain of youth, and I freaked. Oh my god, I'm assuming this place is known to be haunted or something. They said people around here just know it's creepy. Oh shit, they're also saying that the whole campus was haunted. I can only imagine how creepy that would be to go to a college or a university that's haunted. Más si estás viviendo allí.
Trigger warning, I'm gonna mention It's taken me so long to tell this full story because it's genuinely one of the scariest things that's ever happened to me. So when me and my husband bought our first house, things started to get weird very quickly, but it took about 2 years before it all came to a head. The first thing that I noticed is every morning when I woke up, even though I had tucked all the chairs into the kitchen table, one chair was always in the same chair. It was always taken out from the table and facing down the hallway, which was where all the bedrooms were. That happened for a while, and it took me a minute to pick up on the fact that it wasn't my husband doing it and my husband picking up on the fact that it wasn't me. Then I started to walk down the hallway like at night, and I would see the chair facing me, and nobody's sitting in it, but in the reflection of the like window right beside the table, there was always an old man sitting in the chair. I didn't think anything of it because he didn't seem to creep me out, like timelines passing, whatever. Then one night I'm having a dream, a sleep paralysis dream. So I'm like awake, but not really. And I see a shadow, a very tall, like 8 foot, very skinny shadow standing and leaning over my husband like this. He's sleeping. The next morning when my husband wakes up, I told him like, I saw the craziest thing standing over you. I don't mean to scare you, but I saw something. And he was like, stop, because I had a dream that I opened my eyes and there was nothing but like black staring at me. And then I told him what I saw. And like, I mean, you just like that kind of coincidence. A few months go by and then we're sitting in the living room, and this is a house that was built in the 60s. So we had this like big bay window in the living room, and we were on an acre, and basically all of that acre was our front yard. And we hear scratching on the front window, on the outside of the front window. And it wasn't anything like a raccoon, or it couldn't have been anything like that. We were still in a neighborhood. And that just wasn't something we often saw. I mean, the front porch was literally like this big. I wouldn't even call it a porch. So me and him get kind of like uncomfortable and weird. We're like, let's go back to the bedroom. We go back to the bedroom and we lay down, and all of a sudden we hear such a loud bang. We thought that both of our bookshelves, we had like 8 foot tall bookshelves in our living room with we collect old books and like all the old National Geographics. We heard them fall, and both of our cats went running to the back of our house. They came running under our bed. And so we slam the door. We start kind of like game planning, like, what do we do? What do we do? We're thinking somebody's in the house. They just like busted our door down and the bookshelves fell, like something's going on. We get some protection and we go out to like see what's happening. Nothing was out of place.
What the fuck?
Nothing had fallen. Nothing. And we know we weren't crazy because our cats reacted. Then I had a baby and I brought her home, and babies always stare and do weird stuff. But one of my first viral videos was her staring behind me like this. I had her on my knees and she was looking behind me, and she's laughing and playing with something behind me. And as I pan the camera, you see white movement like right here. The video's on TikTok, so we can find it. I would say about a month after that, I was rocking her in her room at night. I was fully awake. I was not dreaming. I was not sleepy. Like, I'm full mom mode. I'm up. Her bedroom looked all the way down the hallway where that chair is facing me, as it has for the last 2 years that we lived there. And as I look up into the hallway, I see facing the corner, like looking into my bedroom, because her room's here and my bedroom's like here. So standing, looking into my bedroom where I'm in her bedroom, is a full-on hooved, extremely tall, horned.
Shut the
I
fuck
immediately start
up.
praying. I
No.
immediately out loud start praying. And of course, this is at 3 a.m. So the next morning,
dude.
I tell my husband, I saw something crazy. I'm getting out of here. And he said that he looked over on the monitor at about 3 a.m. and he saw something moving around in the bedroom. Mind you, this is when I was rocking her, and the monitor does not face the rocking chair. So I loaded up my
Hell
baby.
no, you got me
We went to a
fucked up.
Catholic church, and I got christened. I got a christened cross, a christened blessing. I filled up a whole water bottle and 2 little Tupperware things of holy water. I had an entire, like, the cross hanging on the entryway of our house. I walked around. I had one of my Catholic friends come over and bless our home. I walked around dousing holy water and
think I
praying
would
over the
just
entire house.
leave.
I bathed my daughter in holy water. I bathed her in holy water. That's how much holy water I got. They probably thought that I was insane. And then every night before bed, I would bless her head, and I would bless every single one of, like, me and my husband and every doorway in our house. After that, we never had another incident. To this day, it's one of the scariest things that has ever happened to me, and I still carry that cross around. It's about
would
this
too.
big, but it comes with us no matter where we live, and it's always over the entryway that leads.
I don't know how people do it when they buy a home and it's haunted as fuck. I feel like that's a really sucky situation. Tenerte que salir de tu casa que apenas compraste because of some shit like that. I guess sometimes things really get that bad that people just end up leaving. I am so glad that the holy water worked for her.
So the night before my 16th birthday, I had something come into my bedroom. So I'm going to preface this by saying the night before my 4th birthday, my mom's mom passed away.
So it's the middle of the night. I didn't have a clock in my room, so I'm going to guess by how long it took for the sun to come up that it was probably around 4 o'clock in the morning. And at this point in my life, I had 2 cats, and they slept in bed with me with the door closed. And I woke up because they were both absolutely freaking out.
Dude.
And at the foot of my bed is a woman. She is turned away from me. She's got long, like, black hair, white nightgown. First, I think it's my mom, and then I realize this woman is, like, wet, like soaking wet. And she gets up, and when she stands up, it freaks one of my cats out, and she scratched me, which is how I know I wasn't asleep during this, because the next day, still had the scratch. And she kind of turns and starts to walk towards, the side of the bed that I'm on, kind of turn the corner and come up towards, like, the head of my bed. And when I see her face, I freeze. It can't move, can't blink, like, just staring, like, straight ahead. Won't really, like, look at her after I saw her face. And her skin is like a bluish gray color. Her eyes are completely black. And she has, like, all of her teeth are all pointed to, like, sharp points, and she is, like, smiling.
Oh my
this,
God,
like,
no,
crazy
no,
big
no.
smile towards me as she's looking at me and moving up towards my face. And she gets next to my head, and she kneels down and is just staring at me.
Fuck no. Fuck no.
And I don't move for hours, it felt like. And then the sun finally starts to come up, and when it does, she stands up and turns around towards the wall, and there's a door there that goes into the attic, and she just, like, walked
Don't tell me she goes there.
straight through the door. And as soon as she's gone, I am, like,
She
up
lives in
out of
the
my bed,
attic.
door open, bolting down the steps to go to my mother. And I am, like, visibly upset as I tell her what happened. And she starts to get upset and tells me that she thinks it's her fault because the night before, the night of my grandmother's, like, death anniversary, she had, like, kind of prayed, reached out to the universe and asked for a sign that there was, like, life after death, that my grandma was okay, asked for my grandma to, like, speak to her, and she felt like, she opened a door for this thing to come into our house. Unfortunately, this is not the only time that something has happened to our family. My son, when we lived in my mom's house later when he was 2, and this is a different house, had multiple experiences with something in the home. My mom's house has its own thing going on. There's, like, multiple stories I could tell you of things happening in that house. My great-grandma's house had multiple things going on where multiple family members witnessed or experienced something.
I'm so glad I've never.
Even when my
Thank
mom's
God.
dad passed away a few years ago, there is a recording that you can hear on the recording, like, ghosts or spirits or something, like, talking to my grandpa as he dies, including my mom's mom. So if you want any story times about any of those, let me know.
I'm for sure gonna be scared tonight before I go to sleep. What the fuck was that thing, dude? My first thought when she said that her mom told her that, I'm like, oh, entonces era su abuelita. But then I'm like, no. What if her mom nomás abrió una puerta y se metió una chingadera? What if it was a bad spirit or a demon? That also sounded like La Llorona because she was wet.
Let me start off by saying I don't talk about this often because when I do, I sound crazy. A few years ago, I was gifted two purses by my ex-boyfriend's dad's friend. I accepted the purses and I noticed that I was having these reoccurring nightmares with this lady in each nightmare. So one night, I fell asleep. My ex-boyfriend was sitting at the computer. He's gaming and whatnot. This lady pops up in my dream, but this dream is a little bit different because she was jumping in everybody that I loved's body and trying to get them to themselves in a frozen lake. So I was pulling them away,
She was jumping.
and
No mames.
she didn't like that very much. And then she refocuses on me, and she's running after me, and I'm running, but it's, you know how in dreams, like, you can't run very
I
fast,
hate
like, it's
that,
always in
dude.
slow-mo or you punch slow.
Siempre me
Well, in
madrean
this
también
dream, I
en
was
los
running
sueños.
fast. And each time that I was looking back at her, she was gaining on me. And I got a glimpse of pretty much all of her features, like what she was wearing, what her hair looked like. It was black. It curled into her neck, and she just looked very mad. So eventually this lady, she gets me. She was wearing like a blue, long, almost Victorian type dress. She had black, straight hair that curled into her neck, and she looked very mad. And
It was probably her
so she
badge.
eventually gets me, and
Sin perro.
I was woken up by my ex-boyfriend, who said that I sat straight up in bed
Oh,
and started
shit.
hyperventilating with my eyes rolled in the back of my head.
Oh my God,
I woke
no.
up absolutely terrified. I had no idea what was going on. He had no idea what was going on. He thought I was having a seizure of some
That's
sort,
scary as fuck.
and I was petrified to go to sleep. I called my grandma, and I explained to her what was going on. I told her, I'm tired of this. Like, it's causing me to lose sleep. I don't want to fall asleep. I don't want to see this lady anymore. I don't understand who she is or why this is happening, but I feel like I'm being haunted. So then, fast forward to a few days later, I see Joe again. I need to make a part 2.
Bruh, I need the part 2 now. Me quedé bien entrada. That's fucking scary. Imagine you're asleep with your partner and you just see them wake up like, oh my God, no, dude. I don't know what I would do. I think I would run to my studio to here and get my agua bendita, because I do have agua bendita here that my mom brought me from La Basilica, and I'm so glad I have it here. It's right in front of me, because I feel very protected. I'm gonna have to go to part 2. We
Part
need to hear it,
2
dude.
of the paranormal experience. Fast forward to a few days later, I had seen Joe again. So then at that point, I felt like I made the correlation that this could have been happening, because it could have been related to the purses somehow. So then I asked him, where'd you get the purses from? And he had told me that they belonged to his ex-girlfriend. So from there, I had asked him, you know, is she still in the picture? Is she around here somewhere? And he had told me that she had herself a few years prior. And
Oh my God, that's so sad.
then I asked him for a photo. And he pulls out his wallet. And in the picture, it's him and her. And it's literally the same lady from my dream.
No, dude.
That same exact lady.
That's literally so sad and scary. Like, I feel like crying right now.
And my ex was standing right next to me as we were talking about this whole thing. And I felt like I had been punched in the gut. Like, I couldn't understand. I couldn't believe it. And so I ended up getting rid of the purses, and I haven't had anything like that happen ever since. Like, till this day, nothing else has ever happened like that since.
Pues yo creo se enojó, o a lo mejor sintió feo that her boyfriend gave her purses away. Damn, that's crazy that she had a dream and she already knew how she looked.
This is my time to shine. Whenever I tell this story, it's like 50-50 people believe me or they don't believe me because how kind of crazy it is. This takes place when I'm in 7th grade, so I'm about 13, and I was at my dad's apartment. At the time, my parents were divorced. They got divorced, and they got remarried to each other. So divorced, married, divorced, remarried. They're together now, so there's that. But they were divorced at the time, so I was at my dad's apartment, and it was a very old apartment. Like, it wasn't like an apartment building, it was an old house that someone just turned into apartment units. There was about 4 units total. Very old building. The town was also a really old town. But in my dad's apartment, I didn't have a room. I slept on the couch in the living room. And the way this is set up, so it's the living room, and then there's a corner, and it's the kitchen. The kitchen can see the living room, but the living room can't see the kitchen because there's that corner. Also, this unit, I don't know if the other units had it, but this unit had this energy. Like, you could really feel like it was very like off-putting and eerie feeling energy when you walk into the room or just the unit. So very occasionally I would hear footsteps in the kitchen. So the kitchen floor is very old. Like, it was built in probably the 50s, 60s, and it was that type of material where it's like if someone's barefoot, you can like hear it. It's like sticky almost. So when someone's walking, you can hear the footsteps. And I would always hear those footsteps, like someone's walking, and I would look to go see if it was like one of my brothers or my dad, and no one would be in the kitchen, but it always sounded like someone was walking in the kitchen. It was very, very like clear that someone or something was something, because no one was walking in the kitchen, but it's very clear that something was in the kitchen and it was walking. That sounded so disgusting. I didn't like that. So this one night, it's giving me like goosebumps because it's so... Ugh. It's like in the middle of the night, probably 2 o'clock. I wake up in the middle of the night so thirsty. So I go to the kitchen to get some water. I don't turn the lights on because I'm just grabbing some water. I'm just pouring water in the cup and that's it. And from the kitchen, there was kind of like a long dark hall, which was a little creepy at nighttime, but I'm just grabbing my water and I'm just gonna, run to the couch. So that night, I had my hair in I know you're not supposed to do this, but I was 13. I had my hair in a really, really, really tight bun. This is how I do my buns. Like, I take it and I literally like wrap it so tight, and I would make this it's probably why I have a big forehead, but I would make it so tight, and then I would take like 2 hair ties and wrap it very, very, very tightly. So I struggled to take my hair out. I get my water, I turn around, and I go to the living room, and my back is facing that like dark hallway. So I'm walking back, and my back is faced towards that wall. So I'm walking to the living room, and I feel something pull. Like, I don't feel something grab, but I feel something pull.
Se la desgreñaron.
Like my head like jerked back. Like, it was like that. Like, it was like something went like, oh, my neck cracked. But it was like someone went like that, and my hair just completely falls out. Like, my hair fell out of the bun. And it was in such
I'm
a
scared
tight
to get
bun
water
that
at night
I
now.
struggled with it. So if something like it, so I run into the couch and I just start screaming at the top of my lungs. And my dad comes out. I told him what happened, and he was like, "Whatever ghost is here, if you're not paying rent, get out." And after that, we didn't have really any issues. I didn't really hear on the kitchen floor anymore. I did feel the energy, but after that, nothing happened.
Hey, but that is so real. If they're not paying rent, what are they doing here? Like, it's expensive. We can't afford for people to be living with us for free. Like, what the fuck? Esas son chingaderas. I be thinking that sometimes porque afuera hay un pájaro que siempre le quiere picar las nalgas al Goofy when he's peeing or taking a shit. Like, es bien cabrón. Vuela hasta abajo y lo quiere picar. I'm like, chinga, ni que esté pagando renta. Like, who does he think he is? This is Goofy's yard. Nah, but I be laughing. I think it's cute. Y el Goofy bien mansito, ni se da cuenta.
I've got one for you. So when I was 19, I moved into this house after a breakup, and I found this room on Facebook Marketplace. This girl was selling her room or whatever, subleasing it, and it was, I think, $250 a month.
Oh my god, the rooms are always so sus.
Let's go. So I moved into this place, and it is a very old home. It was made out of local stone, and it was on this block that all the houses were made out of local stone, and if they weren't made out of local stone, they would not still be standing. I'll just say that. They're very old. So this house had been converted into separate apartments, and I was living in a room that you had to walk through a bathroom to get to, and this room was also connected to another bedroom, but we just put like furniture in front of it, so it kind of felt like a bedroom. So that's where I was staying, and the first night that I was sleeping there, I was woken up out of a dream, don't know what I was dreaming about, and I saw this woman just like hovering over me.
Oh my
looking
god,
at me.
no. It's always a
And I looked
woman
at her for
doing
a few
that.
seconds, and when she realized I was looking at her, I just saw her eyes get really wide, and she looked nervous, and she disappeared. And I've never really given that a lot of credit because I was waking up out of a dream. You know, sometimes you just see things. I don't know. But then the next day, when I was leaving to go do something else, you know, I was opening my door, going through the bathroom to get out of the house. I swore that I saw someone like crouched in the corner of the shower. And I thought that was weird. But because the night before and how I was like, that was probably just a dream. I'm probably just paranoid right now. I'm not going to give it any credit. So time goes on.
Someone crouched in
And
the shower. No.
I get a cat. Love the little thing. She's precious. And it gets to a point where, you know, I'm 19. I'm full-time college student. Her food was more expensive than mine, and I couldn't afford to keep her anymore. So one of my friends took her, and I noticed as soon as she was gone that things started to get a little hairy. Like from that day forward till I moved out, every single day something happened. Didn't matter if it was daytime, nighttime, or anything. But that little figure that I had seen crouched in the shower was a little boy. And he was very upset that my cat was not there anymore. So what did he do? He terrorized me. Like, it got to the point where I had to rearrange my room so when I would wake up and roll over in the middle of the night, I wouldn't see him, because he would stand in the corner where I had my cat's stuff, as if like protesting that she was gone. And that was every single night from that point on. During the day, I would have hangers and clothes fly out of my closet.
Oh my god,
Did not
no,
matter.
dude, no.
Door would open, closet and clothes would just fall out. And it became a normal thing, you know, like I would see him and I wouldn't think twice about it because I didn't want to engage. I didn't want to encourage it. So what I would do is I wouldn't say anything. If he was really scaring me, I'd go to someone else's house.
How do you not
I'd
say
just dip out
anything? I would be
because,
screaming.
you know, like child spirits, you don't really know if it's a real child or not. I think this was a real child because he was just throwing tantrums and taking it all out on me. The scariest thing that ever happened with him, though, was I was doing laundry one day. I guess my cat had probably been gone for a couple months now, and I'd become adjusted to seeing him. It wasn't anything new. And I was folding my laundry on my bed, and I watched him crawl out of my closet, look at me, and crawl underneath my bed. It actually makes me sick to my stomach, even thinking about it, because I don't know if you've seen any scary movie. It was horrifying. So yeah, I dipped. I didn't come back for like 2 days because that was horrifying. And before I left, though, I did get on my hands and knees and look under the bed to see if he
Oh
was
my
there.
god, no,
One
how?
of the bravest moments of my life, he wasn't. And at that point, I was already done. You know, I didn't care that I didn't see him. I was done. So, I mean, my laundry was clean. It didn't matter. I dipped. And from that point on, it never got that bad again. But he was almost always in the shower when I would be leaving. And the way that our bathroom was set up, like the mirror faced the shower, and there would be times where like I would be getting ready. I'm crying. I would be getting ready, and I would see his little stinking head pop up in the mirror. And I had to start sleeping with a face mask because I would roll over in the middle of the night and he would either be in the corner of my cat's stuff, or he would be at the end of my bed, or he'd be in another corner. Like it was something straight out of Insidious. And I'd say that's one of the worst ghost stories I have at that house, definitely, because I never saw that woman again. There was one figure I kept seeing in the kitchen, but I never saw their face. They only stood with their back to me. So, you know, I think our timelines were just crossing or something, but no one else in the house that lived there ever had any encounters that I know of. And yeah, so that's how I was terrorized by a little child, ghost, spirit, for having to get rid of a cat, for being poor, essentially.
The top comment says, "Did he look like the little boy behind you?" And she responded saying, "OMG. I wonder how that looks like. I'm gonna click it. Oh my god, I'm scared."
You don't need the app. The mirror. There's like a little boy behind you.
Shut the fuck up. This video sounds scary. Hell no, you got me fucked up. I don't want to see that right now. I'm honestly so scared right now. I am so glad I did this video during the day because these stories were they were something else. The little kid was straight up doing a berrinche because he wanted the cat. I know, dude, and I can't believe he crawled under the bed and she checked. Low-key, I think I would check too. Curiosity be getting the best out of me sometimes. These are just some of the stories. There's literally thousands. So if you guys want me to do a part 2, I'm totally down. Or if you guys want to go lurk by yourselves, vayan y escúchenlas because these ghost stories are as real as it gets. And yeah, guys, this is it for today's video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up down below. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. A lot of people that watch my videos aren't subscribed. I saw in my analytics and I was like, damn, that sucks. So please subscribe, háganme el paro, it's free. Turn on your notifications so you can get notified for the next time I post, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.